You walk into a room and you already know something is off. You can't explain it, but you feel it. The tension, the unspoken thing no one else has noticed. If you moon in the 8th house, that's not your imagination. That's your superpower. And if, like me, you are on the journey of learning astrology, stay with me because today we going deep into what this placement really means in both in Western and Vedic astrology in your everyday life.
It's way more fun on Talks by the Stars.
Welcome back to Talk by the Stars. I'm Mariana. This video is part of our complete Moon Through the Houses series. We are going house by house, from the 1st to the 12th, exploring where your moon lives and what it genuinely asking of you emotionally. And if you are not sure where your moon is in your birth chart, you can find out it quickly, easily, right on my website. The link is below. Alright, let's go into the 8th house. In Western astrology, the moon in the 8th house is one of the most emotionally powerful placements in the entire chart. The 8th house governs transformation, hidden things, depth, shared resources, life and death cycles, and what lies beneath the surface. Let me make the results of moon in the 8th house real and practical. You feel everything. You have an emotional radar running 24/7. You walk into a room and you sense the mood before everyone speaks. You can tell when a friend is pretending to be fine. You know when something is being left unsaid. This is one of the most striking moon in the 8th house characteristics. This quiet, constant reading of the invisible layer of every situation. Here's something worth knowing. Research and psychology consistently show that highly intuitive people, those who read emotional undercurrents naturally, are often people who needed to as children. People with the moons in the 8th house frequently describe their childhood where emotional atmosphere was intense. There was a kind of unspoken tension. They learned to read because it helped them feel safer. The bond with the mother or the primary caregiver is often described as strong, but complex. She may have been a source of both real comfort and real stress. Perhaps she was going through difficult times herself. Perhaps she was emotionally intense or carried her own unspoken burdens. Now, here's how the moon in the 8th house effects show up in the daily details of your life. Rest and relaxation. You do not unwind by doing nothing. You actually decompress through intensity. A hard workout, a deep conversation, a psychological thriller, a sex, a fast drive, an adrenaline experience. Active release is what generally settles your nervous system. Sleep. You need total darkness. Silence. Ideally, sleeping alone, or at least with enough space. A heavy blanket feeling is generally grounding for this moon. A short, quiet meditation before sleep helps calm a mind. Food. Your digestion is generally strong, but your emotion and your stomach are directly connected. When you are stressed or in emotional turmoil, you will feel it physically, in the gut, in the appetite. Rich, flavorful, spicy food works well for this placement. Eating slowly and calmly matters more than the specific diet you follow. Strict, rigid fasting plans tends to be harder to sustain here. This moon doesn't live an elite emotional life, but it lives an extraordinary real one. And over time, every difficult experience becomes wisdom, and every emotional challenge becomes strength. Now, here is where the story takes an interesting turn. If you ever look at a chart in Vedic astrology, also called Jyotish, you may notice that your moon at the 8th house moved to the 9th house. There is the reason for that shift. I had a full video explaining that exactly 24-degree switch. I leave a link right here. But here are the simple questions. When you switch system, what happens to your moon? In Jyotish, the 9th house is called the Dharma Brava, the house of life's purpose, wisdom, spiritual practice, and fortune. It is considered one of the most auspicious houses in the entire chart. And when the moon rests here, something in the emotional landscape becomes lighter. The person with moon in the 9th house in Vedic astrology feels emotionally calm when life carries meaning. When they feel connected with something larger than daily routine, whether there is a spiritual belief, a learning journey, a sense of purpose, or simple travel that opens the eyes and resets the soul. The classical Vedic text describe this placement with a striking phrase. The mind is in a temple, meaning the inner emotional world of this person seeks the sacred. Not necessary is a physical temple, but the feeling of being in a place that meaningful, elevated, expansive. Here's what moon in the 9th house Vedic looks like in a real life. Travel, even a short trip. The change of environment speaks directly to their soul. Many feel emotionally better, even physically lighter, when they are somewhere new. There is often a strong, warm bond with the mother, and a natural desire to take care of her. This moon is associated in Jyotish with good education, natural respect from others, and a deeper love for teachers, mentors, and those who carry wisdom. Life tends to bring unexpected good turns. The right teacher appearing at the right moment, a chance to travel or live abroad, emotional peace found through faith or meaningful study. Now, let's talk about moon in 9th house remedies in the Vedic tradition, because many of you searching for this specifically. Here are some classical practices. Read consistently. Secret text. Philosophy. Books that stretch your understanding. Connect with a teacher or mentor. This moon thrives when someone wiser is in picture. And for those whose moon is still in the 8th house in Vedic astrology, we'll cover what remedies and what a deep placement ask for you in a moment. Now, let's talk about the exception. Some of you will open both your Western chart and your Vedic chart and find your moon sitting in the 8th house in both systems. What does it mean for you? It means you carry the full depth of 8th house moon in both traditions. In Western astrology, this moon is powerful, intuitive, emotionally intense, and built for deep transformation. In Vedic astrology, when the moon is in 8th house, it is called the Chandra Brahma, the house of longevity, hidden knowledge, and sudden change. The classical text note that it is considered one of the most challenging placements for the moon, but it is essential. Challenge in astrology is not the same as damage. It is intensity with purpose. What the Vedic tradition says about this placement. The early years may include moments of sensitivity, health fluctuations, or emotional intensity. There may be distance or complexity with the father figure in some cases. Relationships often bring major turning points. Not chaos, but genuinely life-shaping change that comes through partnership. Support, sometimes even financial, can come through the partner or a close relationships unexpectedly. There can be sudden shift connected to family, especially around marriage or significant life transitions. And here's the profound part. Move in 8th house remedies are Vedic traditions. Be very mindful near deep water. The classical text mention this specifically. Keep a steady spiritual practice, even a small one. Meditation, prayer, mantra, journaling consistently matters more than intensity here. If your moon in the 8th house in both systems, you didn't come here for light life. You came here for a real one, with all emotional depth that means. That is not a curse. That is a gift that took time to open. If something is today video landed for you, if you recognize yourself in these words, or in the intensity, or in the quiet strength, I genuinely love to hear from you in the comment. Tell me, is your moon in the 8th in Western, in Vedic, or in both? This is part of our ongoing Moon Through the Houses series. Every placement has its own story, and I hope you find yours here. Follow Talk by the Stars, and let's keep growing together.
It's way more fun on Talks by the Stars.